New pitcher on the mound for the Volcanoes is Matt McDonald, likely making a one-inning appearance as he gets strike one across the plate. But we are joined in the booth by big league pitcher Jamie Moyer. Jamie, how you doing tonight?
I'm well. My hand's back into writing shape after 3 hours of autographs. And you know what? It's fun to come out to the ballpark. Great weather. Wind's blowing out to right. That's the first thing I noticed when I went down on the field. So you got to pitch the righties in tonight. But you want to see a lot of smiling faces here at the field, a lot of kids, a lot of families. It's happy times. And you know what? That's what we're looking for in this world right now, right?
Exactly. That's what we talked about earlier. It was great weather. We've had a string of really good weather here in Kaiser. And the first thing I noticed in the first game that I called here, that the wind blows out to the freeway. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I thought it would have been the other way around coming in. So we did have a few questions for you. I guess we'll start this off. As that one's shot over to second base, and Soto's going to make the play over to first, not Shoma. What was your favorite ballpark to pitch in while you were in the bigs?
I'm going to say Old Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
You know what? I'm not a historian, but I respect the history of the game. And when we go to New York and to be able to sit in that clubhouse and sit in the dugout and be out in the bullpen and realize the history that had taken place before me, the opportunity that I had to be in such a historical, it was almost like playing in a museum. That's kind of how I looked at it. So that was, for me, I felt very fortunate.
That's a great answer. That's kind of the cool part about baseball. You get to take part in history, and especially in a stadium like that that's so storied.
Right. Well, I mean, you could say the same thing in Boston.
Yeah.
I was going to show my age. I played in Old Comiskey. I played in Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. The Mistake on the Lake in Cleveland, they used to call it, right? I played in Old Tiger Stadium where the dugouts and bullpens were basically underground. So I played long enough where I played at some really old, the ballpark in Arlington was an open. Actually, it was kind of a stadium like this. It had bleachers in the outfield, but from foul pole to foul pole across the field was wide open, and the wind would blow through that tunnel.
Ooh, yeah. I'd imagine that would be rough.
Yep.
So more on your career, who's your favorite teammate that you were able to play with?
Oh, wow.
Because you played with some great ones.
I think I have two, and people are going to go, oh, well, it's really obvious, but I'm going to share two quick stories about the individuals. One was Andre Dawson, and the other one was Nolan Ryan. And like I said, what they did in their careers was, it's a no-brainer. But the way they treated me, number one, as a teammate, but also as a human being, you didn't know if they had a good day or bad day. And that's what I really respected in those two individuals.
That one's chopped to third, fielded strong, throw over. Pick is not made as it comes out of the glove. Camps are going to have a runner on first here.
So, you start to learn from player, and then you start to watch them work, and their work ethic. And people go, where'd you get? Well, I watched a lot of players early in my career and listened to a lot of, it was one of those times, early in my career where you should be seen and not heard. And that's exactly kind of how I looked at things. And boy, it was a learning. My whole career was a learning experience. In this game, as I told, actually, I was talking to one of the young pitchers early this afternoon, and you never stop learning. And when you stop learning, that's when you need to get out of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Always something you can take away from any level of ball that you're in. Yeah. You did pitch in a World Series.
Yes, 2008 with the Phillies.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of pick your brain about what that atmosphere is like to play in a World Series and start a game. And what was that like?
I was fortunate enough to start Game 3 in Philadelphia. It was the first game back. The first two games were in Tampa. Ballpark, obviously 45, 46, 48,000 people, predominantly Philly fans. So that was exciting. And actually, when I was down before pregame on the field, one of the players had asked me about, or actually Tony, the manager, asked me about it. Nice catch in right field, sliding catch. I don't know a name, but
Tony Holton,
there you go. That's what he does. Yeah. And by the way, so I said walking out of the bullpen was a magical experience. I felt like my feet were not touching the ground.
Yeah.
However, we had on the night of game 3, we had like a 2.5-hour rain delay,
Oh,
and the
wow.
outfield was soaked. So yeah, the excitement, but walking in, the puddles going over the sides of my shoes, my feet were soaked, but I could have cared less, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. But yeah, it was, it's, I played my whole career for that night. I mean, really, as a professional baseball player, I think we all dream about playing or pitching or hitting in a World Series. And that was my only time in my career. So very special night, and doing it at home in Philadelphia.
As Arroyo steals second there, he slides in safely.
And with a down 13 runs.
They're trying to get something working here for him.
We do that in independent ball.
Yeah. Campesinos have been having a little bit of a rough season so far. It's still a close race. They're only 2.5 games out of first, but that's in 4th place, which is the bottom of the league right now. But
so if you watch baseball now, who would you say is your favorite pitcher to watch now?
Well, I enjoy watching Clayton Kershaw pitch.
Mm-hmm.
He stands out right now. I mean, I'm going to be a little biased and go to the lefties.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of Major League Baseball this year.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in the last 2 years, kind of really enjoyed watching college baseball. And it seems like each year there's more and more college baseball on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have a son walking on at Oregon next fall.
Congrats.
So thank you. Yeah. So, it gives me more reason to watch college baseball. But I've had 2 sons already go through college baseball in California. And, college baseball to me is a little more pure, right? It hasn't been, they do have replays now and all that, but that's usually in the regionals and super regionals. I don't think they do that during the regular season. I just, young, hungry kids still trying to learn the game. Some think they're really talented, and some are very talented, but still very green compared to professional baseball.
Yeah, I feel the same way about watching college football as well. It has there's a hunger to it almost that you don't quite see all the time.
And you're dealing with teenagers who are going to make mistakes, right? It's this isn't a mistake-free game. And again, baseball is a game about dealing with deficit and mistakes and failure, right? And how do you get through that? And that's kind of what life's about, right? So for me, baseball personally was a great life lesson for 20 some years.
Yeah. So now in baseball, we see the universal DH. They've taken out the National League pitchers hitting.
Mm-hmm.
We did notice you had 51 hits in your career.
I am aware of that. I'm not aware of many of my stats, but every now and then I get a buddy or something goes, "Oh yeah, you couldn't hit." And I go, "Well, I got 51 more hits than you do in the big leagues."
Exactly. Right? Including 5 doubles we noticed as well.
Yeah. No home runs, though.
Yeah, we noticed that too.
One off the wall in Wrigley to right center field with the wind galling out.
Okay, so that was going to be our question. What was your most memorable hit in the big leagues? Was it off of a certain player? Was it a situational thing? Or was it that one?
My first hit was off of Ted Power.
Okay.
With the Reds. Nice. And it was an infield hit. My speed back
there you go.
I slapped the ball to deep shortstop, and I'm not sure if it was Barry Larkin yet or not, and I beat it out to first base. Nice. So, I was in probably 86. It was off of Ted Power.
There you go.
You remember your first, right?
Yeah.
My first win was against my boyhood idol, Steve Carlton, and the Phillies. Man. So, that was pretty cool, too. Honestly, my career in my mind could have ended that day. First major league start against my hometown team and Steve Carlton.
First pitch swung on and missed. So you pitched for a long time in the league. What was your key to pitching so long and finding success for so long?
Well, health is, most important. Durability, the game, the training of the game, the mindset to the game was way different then than it is now. And I'm not condoning the way it is now. It's just different. The thought process is different. Mm-hmm. You were trained when I broke into the game in the minor leagues. You were trained. You're going to go 9 innings. Your thought process should be to pitch 9 innings. And there was no pitch count at 80, 85, 90, 95 pitches. There probably was a count, but it wasn't at that level. It was maybe 100, 120, 130. And I can remember numerous times throwing that many pitches in a start in the big leagues. And I've seen, Roger Clemens, he's a horse. I've seen him throw 150, 160 pitches. Nolan Ryan saw the same thing out of him.
Yeah, that's we've noticed actually a couple pitchers in our league going back-to-back outings of 130 plus pitches, and it's just something like you're mentioning you don't quite see too often anymore.
Well, the pitchers aren't training that way anymore.
Exactly.
Right? And organizations aren't asking their pitchers to do that.
Yeah.
What do they have to carry? 13 guys on a pitching staff?
Yeah.
Back when I signed in 80, 84, 87, when got called up in 86, we had 9, 10. Having 10 guys in a bullpen was like a push.
Yeah.
Like, should we take a third catcher or have 10 guys in the bullpen? Right?
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just so much different now. Now that you're mentioning that,
it's a big difference in the game.
Yeah.
So, and it's to me, it's really hard to compare the game of then to now.
Yeah,
it's almost not fair to either side.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess my next question would just be, what's going on in your life now? What do you got going? Are you just?
I live in just about 20 minutes from the Portland airport, and on the Washington side, Washougal, and just enjoying life. Got some dogs. Like I said, I've got 2 kids going to college, freshmen in college this year. I have a daughter going to High Point. She's a pole vaulter, and my other guy, my guy going short ball to short. Tried to backhand, jumped up over the glove of, I don't know, is that number 2? Ball in the left field. That should be an error in my book. But,
yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Other than that, just enjoying life, enjoying retirement.
Nice.
And this beautiful weather we're having.
Yeah, it is gorgeous right now. This is my first time in Oregon. I'm from California, in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And it was raining a lot when I first got out here, and I thought that was normal in May and June, and everyone, once it started getting later in June, they were like, it really shouldn't be raining this much out here, and now we're getting this beautiful weather. It's really cool to see.
Unusually, we had a lot of unusual rain in the Northwest, but we could use it. Yeah. Last year was very droughty.
So that one's lined. And they're going to double off Matt Holliday and Humberto Soto out there at first base to end the inning. Matt Holliday can't believe it. He's standing out there and strapping his gloves. Lukas, you got anything else? So thank you, Jamie Moyer, for joining us in the broadcast.
It's a pleasure to be on. Thank you.
This is awesome. Thank you much.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yes, please.